Jingala, Jingiwala. My name is Mebangari Cindy Roberts, and I come from the Widjabul tribe, and we are a tribe of the Bundjalung Nation. And as you know, there's a lot going on in this country they call Australia, Terra Australis. So, this government is now pushing for a referendum, and this nation is currently under duress through this process because they put the people in a position where they have no choice but to vote and for this referendum. Now, let me tell you something about this referendum. One, this referendum is an unlawful process that the Australian government is now pushing today. Secondly, we as the sovereign, as the original tribal sovereign descendants, do not want to be in a constitution because we are men and women of the lands. We belong to the land. We come from tribes. We come from nations. We come from clans. We don't belong in the constitution. The constitution is a British constitution, that the Australian people are subjected unto. And we are not a part of that as the original tribal sovereign descendants of this continent they call Australia. This government wants to supersede our sovereignty so they could take full ownership of our lands. And we have to stand against that because this is not their lands. The consent has never been given, in order for this British colony back in 1788 to establish or build their empire upon this continent without the consent of the natives. No consent was ever given. On 15 minutes of first contact, the people, the Gweagal, the tribal people, the Gweagal people told them to leave their lands. Within 15 minutes of first contact, muskets were fired, my people were shot at, no consent was ever given, and sovereignty was never ceded. The British colony established their kingdom upon our lands without consent from our people. Today, they're pushing for a referendum, trying to get my people into their constitution to become their British subjects or their corporate subjects because the Commonwealth set sail a long time ago. This country is no longer under the Commonwealth since 1973 under the Gough Whitlam government. This country has been running a business, controlling the people, fraud, what can I say? Through fraud, they are fictitious, belligerent, unlawful, occupying, or how can I say, what can I call them? Organisation, corporation that has been running this country for far too long against the will of the people. Now, when are the people going to rise up and when are we going to stand against this unlawful occupying government that has no consent, that no consent was ever given by my people and by the Australian people? And this is why we need to stand up and we need to unite. One people, one love, one family. Enough is enough. And it's time for the people to rise throughout the world, not just this country, but throughout the world, standing in your sovereignty. All my tribal brothers and sisters out there that are sovereign, the original sovereign descendants of your country, rise up. It's time. Rise up for that change. Because the original people are still here. We might be descendants, but we're still here. We have survived. So the message to everybody out there today and throughout the world and throughout this country they call Australia, Terra Australis, we need to rise in numbers to stand against this fictitious, belligerent, unlawful, what's that word that you use, my Uncle Greg, he said it over in WA, it was the perfect title for them, because they seem to put us all under titles. You got Aboriginal. Well, I'm not Aboriginal. I'm an original tribal sovereign descendant. I come from a nation. I come from a tribe. We come from clans. So when you acknowledge and you want to recognise us, when you talk about recognition, how about you recognise our tribes? I'm a Widjabul woman. I come from the Widjabul tribe. So when you put us all under these titles, Aboriginal, Indigenous, First Nations, that's not good enough. I come from a tribe and I am a Widjabul woman, from the Widjabul tribe of the Bundjalung Nation is where I come from. Everything that is going on right now in this country they call Australia, with this referendum, they want to put my people into a constitution so they become their corporate subjects to take ownership of the land. And then they want the Australian people who were once under the Commonwealth. So in order for the Australian people to be... we got a visitor. Hello. 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 Oh, look at it. Anyways, I can't help myself. Yeah, look at him. Oh, bless. Yeah. So in order for this unlawful Australian corporate government to roll out their New World Order agenda, they need to take ownership. But see, they can't, because a corporation could never be sovereign. We are sovereign, the people. They are a dead entity. And why would you want to take the tribal people from the land and put us into something dead? We are living. We are not dead. And we don't belong in a constitution, especially the colonisers' constitution. So wake up, Australia. Wake up, world. You no longer belong to the colonisers. It's time to rise. If we ever want change and we want freedom and you want them chains of modern day slavery broken, then stand up by the numbers. Nobody wants to be in slavery. And whoever gave any man authority to rule another man, when we all belong to the great Creator Spirit? Karama Bugabe.